G'day folks, I've nearly got it going. That'll be on the next video though. But this one, I want to talk about my brakes. I've come to the conclusion, guys, and I've known this for a little while, that my drum brakes are just not cutting the mustard. They're good for the first couple of laps, but they go off very quickly. And I lose pedal. The reason I lose pedal, guys, is once that shoe wears a little bit, the piston is having to drive a lot further, and I'm just losing pedal. And I constantly, every time I come back from a race, I've got to adjust my brakes back up to get the pedal back up. And like I said, as the day goes on, the pedal just falls away. Brake fade is very minimal in the front. It's surprising, considering the back go off fairly quick. You can feel it. The fronts are working really hard just to make up for the difference. These are 330mm, so 13-inch thereabouts, and it's a 2-piston PBR. They're off a AU Ford. Actually, they're very good set of brakes. Remember, now that I've pulled the intercooler out, this car only weighs 1,350 kilo. So it's under 3,000 pounds, so it's not that heavy. And the front to rear split difference is very minimal. It's around, I would be guessing, about 130 kilo more over the front than the rear. I think that equates to around a 56-44 front to rear percentage. So what I'm going to do, guys, well, I did ring up a crowd that I bought these ones off, Hopper Stoppers, and they offer a 280mm single piston, which is off a Commodore. And I got looking at them, and they're too small. And that, I can't sort of go any bigger in the piston or a twin piston for this setup, because I just don't have enough, because I'm only running the one cylinder to feed all brakes, and it's just not successful. So what I thought, I came up with this idea. I'm going to get rid of the factory pedals, or the factory booster, all this, and all the bias, which is down in there. That's the factory brake bias. I'm going to put all the lines out of it, brake lines, and I'm going to run a pedal box, twin cylinder. So we've got a single one for the front and a single from the rear, and you can get adjustability out of it, which I'll go into further, guys, once I purchase it. I've got my eyes on a couple. I don't have enough room to run. A floor mount pedal box because of the seating position. I'd have to move it back probably 6-8 inches back further, and if I did that, I'd have to completely reconfigure what's never going to happen because the cage, the way I've got the cage. So I reckon I'm going to have to try and go for an under dash mount one. And you can get a clutch, brake and throttle assembly, but if I delete just for now the clutch assembly, take the pedal off and the cylinder and the brake, and the cylinder, the master or the slave cylinder, you call it, no, master cylinder, and I haven't decided whether to run with the throttle or keep the factory one there. So that's something I'm just going to have to work out. But that's the only way I'm going to run the brakes I want on the rear. And I thought, well, as far as the reservoir goes, I could probably run the two reservoirs over here, or three, if I ever go to a manual, which gives me the option to with this pedal box. So, oh look, this is really going to set me up now, because guys, I'm actually thinking of running the same brake setup, the 330mm and the twin piston caliper on the rear. So, because these are phenomenal, they really are for this car. And because I've just worked it out, I've just measured it, and that disc will fit straight over that, over the hub. And this, where it's just, you can see where that tiny little lip, well, that's been machined to accept that, the same hub as this rear one. So, oh, it'll be fantastic. So we'll end up running brake lines inside the car for the rear, so straight down on the inside of the car. I think that's going to be a lot safer, and I'll be able to have a, you can adjust them too. They've got like a T-bar set up off the pedal, and you can screw it in and out, and it gives you a bit of cable, and you can set it up and you can adjust it on the fly, your front and rear bias. Oh, this is exciting stuff, guys, so I can't really wait to, to get going on it. I was priced $1,600 for the Commodore rear setup. I worked it out, I can get these discs, the exact same ones, for $400, and the calipers are about $150 to $200 depending each. And I've got some really good pads which I get from Queensland Friction Material, and they've hardly worn. They're awesome brakes. They just need a little bit of heat in them to get them sort of start to bite. But I'll have amazing braking now on the rear, especially with this size brake, because if I ever want to do some brake boosting on the stands here to test I could do a power run and apply and trim the front brakes right off, so I've got all back brakes, and I can do a power run and sort of monitor the air fuels. And this style of disc and caliper will allow me to do it. And I think it's going to work out a treat, actually. So it's going to work in actually about the same price, maybe a few $100 dearer, but it's going to set me up with awesome brakes and get rid of all this sort of crap too, and lighten the car up once again, because I'm guessing that little brake booster there is not light. Alright guys, so that's what I've decided to do. I'm going to actually start on it, because I've got a club day next month, and I'm not feeling real confident with these brakes, and I'm still got to tune this carb in too. So I thought, let's do the brakes. We'll have a fiddle around with the carb just while it's sitting up here without any load on it, and see how that's sort of faring up, and focus on these brakes and get it sorted in the next couple 3 months. And then I could probably either go back down for some private testing or go to the dyno and do a little bit of dyno work. If that's sort of a bit unsuccessful at the track, I can always go to the dyno and try and work out this carb. But I think I'm pretty close with it all. But these brakes is where it's at the minute. So guys, if you've got any more information or ideas, throw it my way. I'll take it all on board. But that's my little plan at the minute. So I'm quite excited about it, because this is what's really holding me back. And this is what's holding me back for putting in those diff gears too, because I know that the faster I go, the more brake I'm going to need, and I just don't have the confidence at the moment to really lean on these brakes. Alright folks, well, the next little one will be a start up of the big girl. Catch you later.